I'm going to read today the next chapter called Big Business. I wonder if you can guess what animal Pim is going to meet today. Well, see if you can guess in your head and then see if you're right. That night, Mrs. Aardvark took Pim with her on her feeding trip across the veld. They went a different way this time. They passed through a belt of trees, or what had once been a belt of trees. Lots of them had been rooted and up and thrown to the ground, and those that were still standing had their bark stripped off. And if you know anything about animals, I'm sure you'll guess what the animal we're going to meet now is. There were broken branches everywhere. Pim stopped and stared around him. What could have done this? Something huge. Elephants, said his mother. Oh, they are messy eaters. Come on, we'll go around the edge. Eaters, said Pim, following his mother. Do they eat aardvarks? No, just grass and branches and tree bark and things, but they will throw it around so. If they fancy a branch they can't reach, they just uproot the whole tree to get to it. Elephants must be very strong, said Pim, imagining a sort of giant baboon pulling up trees with its hands. I don't think I want to meet an elephant. The termite nest which his mother chose for her dinner was near a river. Pim watched his mother tearing at the nest for a while, but an interesting smell from down the river drew him like a magnet. Soon he was bumbling along by the river bank, sniffing busily. Now, bumbling means you're just going along wherever it takes you. He had to watch out for tree roots which seemed to be spread out everywhere to trip him up. A tree loomed up ahead of him, and he stepped sideways to go around it. That was funny. Pim stopped dead. The tree had moved. Pim shook his head briskly. Trees didn't move. He looked over his shoulder. There were 4 trees moving towards him. This was too much. Pim was going back to his mother. He was about to bolt when a voice above his head said, "Hello." And if you know what bolt means, that means you just, like Usain Bolt, that very fast runner. Well, bolt means just run as fast as your legs can carry you. Something nuzzled his ear. Pim looked up. 2 little eyes were looking down at him down a long, long nose. Behind this face were 2 great ears and a huge body with, yes, the trees were animal legs. Hello, said Pim warily. Warily's a bit nervous. He was still ready to run. What are you? I'm an elephant, said the strange creature. A baby elephant. A baby elephant, said Pim, his eyes wide. Your mother must be enormous. Well, she is quite big, said the baby elephant. I can stand underneath her for the shade when the sun is hot. But what are you? Me? I'm an aardvark, said Pim. An odd what? Said the elephant. He explored Pim all over with his trunk. You certainly are an odd something. An aardvark, said Pim. You can talk anyway. What a very odd dangly nose you've got. Stop tickling me. Sorry, said the elephant, withdrawing his trunk and holding it up. This is my trunk. I always use it for exploring new things. It's very strange too. Watch. He coiled his trunk around a small tree and yanked it right out of the ground, roots and all. Ah, so that's how you do it, said Pim. I thought you must have hands like baboons for pulling up things with. He looked at the tree on the ground. Aren't you going to eat it? Eat it? No, said the elephant. I still have milk from my mother. Oh, me too, said Pim. He looked up at his strange new friend. Do elephants have holes? Holes? Said the elephant. What would I need a hole for? Well, to be safe in. Aren't you afraid of anything, like lions and things? The baby elephant drew himself up to be very tall. The elephant is the king of the beasts. He is afraid of nothing, he said proudly. Then he grinned down at Pim. Or so my auntie says. Actually, lions do attack baby elephants sometimes. That's why I'm supposed to stay close to my mother. He looked towards the river where there were splashing noises. I better get back to them. They are crossing the river. There's Pim talking to his friend, the baby elephant. Would you like to come and see me off? Pim said he would, and that's how he came to watch a herd of elephants at bath time. There seemed to be elephants everywhere, squirting themselves and each other with water and churning up the mud with their huge feet. Pim's friend could hardly wait to join them. With a cheery, "Bye!" he slid down the slippery mud bank and landed in the water with a great splash. A huge elephant, it must have been his mother, splashed up to him, spanked him with her trunk, and then sprayed him all over with water. Pim's friend squealed and pretended to try and run away, but he was pulled back and squirted again and again. He was obviously enjoying himself hugely. Pim was too, as his mother saw when she found him a little later on. He was watching his friend being tugged up by the steep bank on the other side of the river by his mother, while another elephant shoved him from behind. They were having quite a job getting him up the slippery slope. The king of the beasts was just a baby. "Oh, so there you are," said his mother. "Look at you, you're covered with mud. What have you been doing?" I got a bit splashed, that's all." Elephants are messy bathers as well as messy eaters. "Oh, look, they've got him up at last." His friend, who was tired after all his difficult scramble, had grasped his mother's tail with his trunk. She pulled him up after her into the scrub. Pim sighed. Oh, he was tired too. He turned to his mother. She had a lovely big tail, bigger than Mrs. Elephant's. "Why haven't I got a trunk?" he said wistfully. "Because you're an aardvark," said his mother. "Come on home." So that's the end of the chapter 3, and we'll see next time who Pim gets to meet. I hope you enjoyed the chapter.